Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Grimjob here. Got a game that I played last night versus QuickSixHatch. A lot of you have probably watched his videos before. He's probably one of the OG Gates of Hell content creators. So following in his footsteps in a sense. Got a game here on Neville. I decided to go the all-round West doctrine. It's one of my favorite doctrines at the moment. Decided to go for a Kubel first. Put an MG out of my first squad in it. I was half expecting him to maybe rush a recon squad at the start here, but he didn't. So I can play a little bit more aggressive with the Kubel, considering he allows me to get into the point first. We've played a few games together over the years, I guess. I've probably been playing this for a little bit under 2 years now. I'd say we are pretty evenly matched. So he's smoking, doing the right thing, I'd say, in that situation. And I've kind of caught him on the back foot here. So he's reacted to that by buying a armored car, which I don't have a counter to, because somehow I've managed to put my rifle grenader off to the side of the map. So he's kind of got free reign at this stage, and it's a little bit frustrating. And at least at this time in the game. So I do have a guy with a rifle grenade. He should be within range and be shooting right now, but he's just aiming instead. So I've got a bit of a sense of how QuickSix plays, and a lot of the things that I do in this game are counters to what I expect to see from him. Nade micro, pretty important part of the game, especially on a map like this, where it's often a micro heavy map, fighting over the midpoint and all those buildings. So I can see him on the map there. I like to play with a pretty small mini-map, even though I play on a small monitor, so it's something to consider. Maybe blowing up the map size, but I do see in the corner of my eye that he's bringing some guys around to the northwest on that high ground. So in my previous commentary video, I discussed how it's quite important to know where the high ground is, and some parts of the map might not have a capture point on it, but they can be very important to get control of regardless. And on this map especially, that northwest side is much more important than the southeast side. So I'll often just, when I'm playing the game, I'll sort of just every 4 or 5 seconds, just glance towards the minimap, see if any new red dots or indicators for vehicles are popping up and where they might be moving to in relation to where my light vehicles might be, where my tanks might be. So you can see here, as I built some foxholes, that he's pushed a armored car right up into the point as he fires a Panzerschreck at me, and I try to back away and get behind the cover, and he just hits the engine. Must have only been a slither of the engine visible then. So flamethrowers can be quite pesky, but usually they die pretty easily, because your units can shoot through smoke when the enemy is shooting at you through smoke. Sort of makes them visible. So one way to stay invisible in the smoke is to go hold fire, and then lie down in the smoke, and they won't be able to see you at all there. As he brings in quite a large squad of infantry. And I'm actually floating a lot of manpower at the moment, as I decided to bring in an officer. I'm not sure that's possibly the right purchase. Perhaps I just wanted to use it to get vision towards the back of this point. Maybe even to push an officer into the point early to counteract a lot of that infantry weight he's got in there. Sometimes you can push an officer into the point and sort of fool the enemy into thinking that you've got more infantry on the point than you might do. Make them a bit hesitant or reactive. This game, you really want to be the person making the first move and making the opposition player react to what you're doing. As he's doing here. He likes to make pushes around to the side and put you sort of under pressure on opposite sides of the map simultaneously. So you've got to be aware of that. Doing a little bit of micro here, trying to get this Panzerschreck into position. And that was very unlucky not to get a hit on that T-60. It's little moments like that that can add up. So sometimes losing a game, possibly, or winning a game. If that was a heavy tank, for example, later in the game, that could have been quite crucial. So I haven't got much map presence here. He's kind of got that whole northwest side, and he's got more infantry in the middle. So I definitely want to get on top of things straight away and not let him get onto this point. My first point. When you let someone triple cap you, you're at a severe disadvantage because the enemy player is getting 3 points per second, and so 180 points per minute. So that can really lead to you losing a game very quickly if you get triple capped. Whereas at the moment it's 2-1, so he's just getting 1 point per second in terms of the victory points. So kind of just holding on here, but we're certainly not going to panic or do anything like that. Luckily, I have a Panzerfaust guy ready here. That's quite a good example of why you want to have your units spread out And just to put AT sort of scattered around the map can come in handy. Very handy, just like that did. Is that half track's repaired? Ready to get back into the fight. I'm starting to cap the middle again, so. 10 minutes passed and we're pretty even. I keep doing this strange thing where I try and build my foxholes facing the enemy, and I always build them facing the wrong way. I must be doing something wrong with my mouse. Or I'm moving too quickly. But he's brought a squad around on the flank to try and hit me from the side. And luckily I've got the perfect counter to Soviet infantry, which is a 2 centimeter on a half track. German half tracks are quite strong against the Soviets, I find, but not as strong versus the Americans, in my opinion. So the Americans get a lot more light vehicles or infantry with bazookas and that kind of thing, can pose much more of a threat. So I decided to push my officer into the point, as I think he's pushed a commissar in himself. No, holding off. Starting to clear out that northwest, and those elite guards, riflemen are there too, so some significant manpower advantage for me there, as he loses some high tier units. It's always good to think back after a game, even after a win, especially after a loss, about what you could have done differently, could have done better. Perhaps what went well and what you might keep doing in the future. It's crazy pathing sometimes in this game. You just drive straight through the building instead of around it. Trying to get my MG into a position where he's more effective. That's an AT rifle somewhere. Losing the gunner, but still up and running. Just trying to clear out some of the cover there, using those windows. Looked like that's what he was trying to do, but he brought up a AA 25mm AA, and that's one half track down. Probably not the last one in this game either, I dare say. But I have managed to kill off some of his infantry in the middle, and we're capping it back. So just break up that Sturm Grenadier squad to help me a little bit more on the right side, up on that hill. If you can sort of get up on top of that hill and get MGs, anti-tank stuff set up, you're in a very strong position that you can shoot down into the point. Building some foxholes to give me some cover, as it's all pretty flat at this stage, and a lot of the cover is probably going to get destroyed over the course of a game. as this game looks to be like we've held on into the mid-game now to get line 2 doctrine units. And with units such as the signaler that allow us to stay in the game pretty well here at this stage. We survived that early scare. So put some mines down just in case he does make a push over to my point. Try and future-proof a little bit. A little bit of grenade micro as he gets cut down. I noticed there was some infantry hiding in these buildings, so I just said, fuck it. Just burn them all down. No one can be in there. Especially as I'm going to be bringing forward a artillery signaler, most likely. The buildings, I don't want them there. I just want the artillery to be able to carpet the whole place. So look on the minimap again, checking every so often, and I see it on there. It's a brace for impact, and I'm just keeping an eye on my officer there. Looks like we'll be okay, and that barrage only killed one of our blokes. So I'm just checking my doctrine points. Do I want to buy? Do I really need anything from there? Because with 110 doctrine, it gives me a lot more options into the future, into line 3 doctrine units such as the Tiger 2. I could buy a Hummel, or even a Nashorn still. So I'll just see what I can do with my manpower that I'm saving up. So why not bring in a whole bunch of stone grenadiers in a half track? Get some of them to jump out. And put them on the right side. And the rest can push into the other side of the point. I think at this stage, I could probably make a nice size push into the southeast side of the map. Sort of put him off balance a little bit and cause him to react to me, rather than being a little bit too passive here. But on the other hand, I'm trying to get better with my infantry micro, and making big pushes is a good way to lose a lot of infantry as well, when you haven't really got a good idea of what's lying in the fog of war. Bring the flamey boy forward, try and burn the fence down. This rocket barrage is much more effective, killing 6 of my guys, and the Panzerschreck dude too. As I'm thinking about what I can do to sort of counter the little Katusha on the T60. I do have my own on-map artillery. In the form of the signaler. So we probably cancel each other out really in terms of artillery, I'd say here. In a map like this, you really do want to have strong artillery, I think, once it gets into the mid-game and late game. It might have been a good idea to make a small push. While I do the flare, sort of distract him, so maybe you won't see that first barrage. As I kill a couple of flamers. It'd be good now if I had to sort of take a little bit of ground here. Which I'm trying to do. Not let him walk back onto the hard cap. He kills a medic. He kills a lot of his own dudes there. So thank you, Hatchy. Artillery can be a little bit dodgy sometimes. You have to be careful where exactly you've aimed it. Sometimes using a signaler you can easily shoot it into the building in front of you, and that's always a good way to put yourself on tilt. So the game's kind of slowed down here a fair bit, but I would say that I was feeling pretty comfortable at this stage with I got a good manpower reserves, and I've got a lot of options available. So my foxholes are facing the wrong direction. I definitely didn't ask them to do that. So you can see here comes a big blob of infantry. He's pushing forward with smoke, so that's well played from him. I decided to get a P4, try and kill some of the trucks in the AA. So I'll have a couple of minutes before third line doctrine units come out. So I was hoping I'd get some effectiveness out of this P4. So we'll see what happens. Lined it up, it's green. There's still a building in the way. He does notice. And hits the building and ricochets. Definitely doing something wrong there. That was very close though. I see here he's pushing a infantry blob forwards. He's kind of cleared me in the middle here, so we have to get right on top of that and react. Put a flare in there just to stop him pushing up much further. And possibly while he's distracted. Not looking at that point. See, that infantry blob is just getting chewed to pieces. Oh, that half track got a lot of kills. Flies in turn, and he's spotted where my signaler popped his flare from. Yeah, he kills my lieutenant. So I'll just buy another one. But what I should be thinking about here is that it's 25-minute mark, and you can bring out something that's very interesting. Shot through the disc into the T-60 rocket tank in the background. That could have been an absolutely epic collateral. I can hear an engine in the background watching this on replay, but I didn't have the presence of mind to pick that up in the moment. So we'll see what happens if my P4 is going to get domed or not here. Then I just see it, and he's one-tapped me. I decide, what am I going to do here? I've got two artillery options. Nice tank destroyer or a heavy tank, and now he's brought an IS-2. I'm going to have to counter that for sure. So I bring it up, put it on locking the ammo to armor piercing, so it doesn't change to HE. I don't put it on hold fire. I'm trying something a little bit different lately in my gameplay. Just keeping it off hold fire, but allowing it to have armor piercing loaded at all times, so it can sort of do its own thing at times when I need it to. So, lunging forward here, I'm going to catch him off guard, and he doesn't have line of sight on me with my Tiger here, as he makes a big error. So just hit him through the engine, and I got a fairly quick reload on the Tiger, so I could get a shot off. So, killed some of the crew, but he gets a shot off, but doesn't connect, and I get the finishing shot. That's a big result. Now he shouldn't be able to bring in any more heavy tanks without saving up a lot of manpower. So we see the benefit of having AT spread around. Rifle grenade pops the T-70. Just want to make sure I get that Tiger 2 back in case he does something sneaky with a Panzerschreck. That would be really sad. So at this stage, looking pretty good. It's got some infantry off to the right there. I don't think he's got any more. He does have a T-60 as well. Maybe the last of his doctrine units. So I bring forward the half tracks as I see a lot of infantry blobs, and they go to absolute town on these infantry. Those MG42s tearing him to shreds. I want to bring my Tiger up here and help them out. So still got that pesky 25mm anti-aircraft gun. But now I've got combined arms, I've got artillery, tanks, light vehicles, and a lot of infantry on the field, so this is where you want to be in this game. You don't really want to have too much of one thing, but a little bit of everything. There's a half track there I could pick up. Trying to work on my infantry micro. It's not easy to manage everything versus a good player. That went, just gave that guy a haircut. with an 88mm round. He doesn't seem to notice me firing shots over his head there. Ouch. Gotta make sure I get my officer out of there. It's the only one I got. It's my second one. I don't need him on that hard cap anymore, so I just pull him out of there to be safe. Decided to let the AI take over. Let them shoot at that part, at the AA gun. I take over. I don't know what happened there. How that could possibly ricochet. I pull out because I thought I heard a tank engine. It's not worth it. This is probably pushing an officer into the point, getting +5 out of nowhere, just like that. And if I think about it, it's probably going to be that back left corner. Pull the Tiger back to... Don't want to have it just sitting there doing... If it's not doing anything shooting or within range of something, trying to aim at something, there's no point. It's just sitting there. Case in point. Get your key units doing something. Why not just popping one of these? Bang. One more for good measure. He's got a big blob of infantry there that is just got sitting there not doing anything. Most of the cover's now gone except for my foxholes that I did build earlier. He's crawling forwards. I'll just flare that, thank you. Get him off the point. Sometimes what people do in this situation is they'll actually rush towards your side of the point once you flare. So it is good to be ready for that. But he's running in the opposite direction. Get some good hits in, kill the AT gun. And that's looking much better for me as I can just keep calling in half tracks full of STG guys. And I could still got plenty of manpower. Now the AA gun's gone, so I could definitely push up further here. As he had to leave halfway through. Well, I'd say game's probably decided at this stage, unless I did something absolutely to throw the match. GG.